Why is the education system designed in such a way that you teach kids the majority of the things that they don't actually use?
It's a waste of money.
I am a Harvard dropout.
How'd your parents react?
They were just in denial.
Were you scared?
No, because I had nothing to lose.
At the age of 19, I was making like $100,000 a year.
I knew that I wasn't academically the best. I wanted to be on a chessboard that I had the advantage in.
When I was growing up, my mom said, Noah, you have to go to college. Well, if your goal is to start a business and get rich, is college even worth it? In this video, I'm gonna be interviewing multi-millionaires who either didn't go to school or dropped out to ask them, is college worth it? And how did you make your millions? Who's Garen Jones?
I lived in my car for 2.5 years, went everywhere from modeling to singing to music, was in prison. And then I got out, turned over a new leaf in my life, health and wellness business, 7 figures, coaching business, 7 figures, now retreat business, almost at 7 figures. Life became my university. So people's like, you went to college? Yeah, I went to C of LU. They're like, what's that? College of Life University.
You sold a company, auction.com. The company auction.com was bought for $1.6 billion.
It was bought for a big number, yes.
Do you think college is worth it?
You know, it's okay not to go to college, but that doesn't mean you don't want to be uneducated. I mean, you just might want to be educated in a different form or fashion. And that doesn't mean you're not going to be super successful. I really believe that a lot of guys who go get vocational education, if they just keep their nose to the grindstone and live below their means and always do more than they promise, they're going to become very successful.
What I'm known for is being a college dropout and a C-level English student who created a publishing school. We've published about 7,000 books.
What was the thought process to drop out? What happened that led you to that?
You've probably heard of the fear-based decision matrix, Tim Ferriss. He says, what's the worst case scenario? It's like, worst case scenario, I drop out. Okay, grand scale of life, what is that, a scale of 1 to 10, an impact on my life? Probably a 2 out of 10. What's the best case scenario is there's hundreds, if not hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in opportunity cost where I could grow businesses and expedite kind of that whole process. Okay, what's the scale of 1 to 10? That's probably a permanent 8 or 9. Most people will pass on permanent 8 or 9s for risk of a temporary 2 or 3 because it just feels scary in the moment.
I graduated high school, age 17. I've invented sump pump systems that are the best in the world and drainage systems for basements that are, revolutionized the way that things were done.
How did you find out what you like to do?
You have to figure out, what am I good at? What are my inherent talents, and then look at what careers are around that and go out and try something and get a job somewhere and learn and say, is this what I want to do? And if it's not, then don't waste time. Right? I mean, move on to the next thing, try something else, and then go from there.
I graduated high school in 2020. I built up an Instagram page in my parents' basement, and I created a monetized community off of that, which roughly brings me around $50,000 to $55,000 per month.
Do you regret not going to college?
If I went to college for 4 years, maybe if I got a master's on top of that, the entrepreneur dream is gone. 6 years, I would not really go back and think about it because I would be a completely changed person.
Do you regret not going to college? You regret not staying?
No, not at all. Something didn't feel right. I don't think I belong in a classroom with no windows, so I ended up making the world my classroom.
I'm glad that I went and very glad that I dropped out. For a lot of people, 1 or 2 years of college is actually really, really, really helpful because you get out of your home city, hopefully, you learn new life skills, you meet new people, all that. But beyond that, for me personally, there was a point of diminishing returns.
Can you tell us maybe like the 30-second, who is Sarah and what you're known for?
So I am a Harvard dropout who started an e-commerce software company. We raised 27 mil in total, so we're Series A and backed by Andreessen Horowitz, Y Combinator, and a bunch of other folks.
So tell me about the tweet from your parents.
Yeah, well, first off, I don't think I told them that there would be a TechCrunch article. So it was my first big press push. I texted the link in the group chat. The only thing that really stood out to them was that TechCrunch had called me a Harvard dropout, which was a label that we'd never used. At home, it wasn't that I was a dropout. They're always you're going back, right?
All right, if someone just dropped out and they want to make $1 million, what would you recommend them to do?
I think that building some type of social media page is the best way to go. Why? Because it's the lowest barrier to entry. You have your phone, everybody has a phone. You just have to make an account and be different on the internet. If you be different on the internet and you provide value, people will look at your account, they'll resonate with you, and they'll get to a point where if you sell them a product, they'll buy it.
If someone's watching and they're thinking about dropping out of college and their goal was to make $1 million, what would your advice to them be?
What would you do with that million? Because if you don't know, that's why you won't have it. Never leave something unless you have a plan. And two men working in McDonald's, one person is just working for money. The other person has a plan to leave McDonald's, but he has a plan for why he's at McDonald's, because he plans to open up a chain of restaurants one day.
Well, first, venture-backed SaaS companies are not the best way to make money fast. I actually have a lot of dropout friends who started agencies and drop shipping businesses, and they made money fast.
How did you keep learning after you dropped out?
I dropped out of school, but I operated like I was still in school. And so for me, I kind of convinced my mom a little bit to, instead the money they had put away for college, instead, hey, can I put this towards like some conferences, some seminars? She said yes on a couple of them. And so did that. And then it was books.
Like if you didn't go to college or you didn't get it from your family, like where did the college or the Life University teach you? Where did you learn these things?
You heard of Think and Grow Rich, but a few people have read Grow Rich with Peace of Mind, Do the Work by Stephen Pressfield, The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. Such a great freaking book. The formulas are crazy. I read other books, but these are ones that I just keep all the time.
What were some of the areas you self-educated in?
Typically business techniques, self-help, positive thinking. I was always into those things. I always found mentors in each one of those categories that helped me along.
What's the downside? What's been the worst part about dropping out of college?
If people met me and were like, hey, what do you do? Or whatever, it's just like I had this long multi-minute preamble of like why I'm not a loser. I just felt like I needed to over-explain myself.
I was pretty scared I would not be able to have like a close social circle, and honestly, like YC and then the pandemic hit at the end of that, like that was really tough.
When everybody thinks that you are this person and deep down inside, you don't even want to live. Like I tried to take my life twice. It wasn't just like, oh, I just left. And I was like, nah, it was hard. And because of my personal growth and my willingness and dedication to growing as a person, once I knew why I was here, what I'm here to do, oh, I locked in, bro.
If someone's listening and thinking about dropping college or skipping out, should they do it?
I say no college. If you're going to be a business person, you don't need to go to college. If you're a learner, if you can discipline yourself to learn, get on YouTube, get some books, and throw yourself at it.
If I need a boss, or if I'm planning on being a professional, then of course you got to stay in college.
I do think it is worth for a lot of people. Like I've talked to friends, and some folks want to drop out, but then the way they think about like their life and their like frameworks, it just doesn't work out well if you want to start a company.
I will never say not to go to school, but if you feel something that not up, well up inside of you, where you feel I do not belong here, I would say to honor it, because your subconscious mind knows more than you do.
If you think you want to do it, just do it. Everything's reversible. If it doesn't work out, don't tell your parents to call me.
If you like this video, you are going to love this video right up here where I ask 80-year-old millionaires whether it was worth it and if they worked toohard. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, you know what to do. Uncle Noah loves you, and I'll see you out there. Pew, pew.